talk about education in medieval period. The Middle Ages or medieval times is a period in the history of mankind that was between the 5th and the 15th century. It is the time when wars were intertwined with efforts to build strong communities, and education system was greatly different from the modern one. Let's see how education during the medieval period looked like and how it has influenced the modern educational process. Here are several interesting facts. Number 1. The education was absolutely religious in comparison with the time of Roman Empire. Education during the first centuries of the medieval time was in a decay as fighting skills were considered more important. However, the impact of other cultures is still reminded of the importance of knowledge, and the educational system has been taken under control by the church. Schools established by pagans were closed, and the responsibility for teaching appeared to be in the hands of the representatives of religion. Only wealthy people could afford to study. The religious representatives taught predominantly people of upper-class society. That happened mainly because it was costly, as the fees were rather high. Books were very difficult to obtain. They had to put much effort to earn their living, so kids were taught to work since their childhood. Only upper-class women could study, but according to the limited course. It goes without saying that all the schools and universities founded in the Middle Ages were created for boys. Only wealthy males could attend the schools. But upper-class women were also not left uneducated. They could not visit educational institutions, but were taught at home. These were preferable literate courses like writing and reading, as well as rules how to keep household successfully. Women were not allowed to learn other disciplines, as their main life purpose was to serve their husbands and organize the household well. Number 4. The schooling has been divided into 3 main types. The medieval schools have been of 3 main types. Song schools, where boys were taught to sing religious motifs and sometimes they learned reading and writing. Monastic schools meant for boys who wished to connect their lives with religion. Sometimes these schools opened doors to boys whose families were very poor, but they had to serve in the cathedral for the opportunity to study. Grammar schools that were established on the territory of a church or cathedrals and taught boys basic subjects. Disciplines learned at schools, as it becomes obvious from the previous fact, only in grammar schools boys were learning different subjects. The most important subjects were Latin language and grammar, rhetoric, logic, and the basics of math and science. They learned astrology and philosophy as well. But due to the absence of proofs, education focused on superstitions and beliefs. There were practical lessons with hunters, trappers, and others too. Studying had its peculiarities. Apart from being religious and meant for boys, education in the Middle Ages had several distinguishing features. Boys were sitting on the floor during lessons. They were sitting with a bone or ivory stylus on wooden blocks covered with wax. Establishment managed by bishops. Lessons lasted from the early morning until sunset. Students were punished for mistake with a birch. Oxford and Cambridge universities were founded. The Middle Ages is a time when 2 renowned all over the world universities were founded. These universities are part from the best universities around the world. Can you believe it? Education in medieval period has made a great leap forward from simple church schools to best universities in the world. Imagine your school principal being a bishop, or even not use pencil like in the present days. Starting from this medieval period, education would change completely.